Paul uses the members of a body, a human body, to compare to a church. Every body needs a hand, arms, legs, all these different parts. And a church does too. It needs all different kinds of people to make it function. We can't say we just need a hand. No, we need feet too. And no part is better than another part. So as we talk about ministry servants, please see that God doesn't see one ministry more important than another ministry. And we're going to look at how do you determine where you should be a ministry servant. We're going to use Rick Warren's acronym SHAPE. Many of you have gone through his book, The Purpose-Driven Life, where he talks about SHAPE. And many of you have done this particular inventory before. But I found it very interesting because I have two, how different I've come out this time than I did when I did it 5 years ago. Sometimes God is calling us to something new. And some of our gifts come out stronger now than they did, and some kind of fall back. Not that we don't have them anymore, but God needs us in a new place perhaps. So I encourage you, if you've done these before, to look at them with new life. That maybe God is calling you to something new. Or perhaps you did this and you're serving right where God wants you according to this SHAPE. What a great feeling, a confirmation that you're serving where you're supposed to be. What I want you to do is I want the mentors now, there are 2 handouts in your folders. If you would pass those out to your ladies. These are little tools to kind of help us work through this and determining where we can be a ministry servant, to look through the shapes. And if you have your spiritual gifts inventory and your that you did over the week, even if you didn't do it, if you just take it out and kind of refer with us, and your how should I serve in my church, we're going to have a lot of papers here to fumble. I apologize. If you brought those. It's real important not to look at, there are 5 indicators here. Please don't just look at one and say, okay, this is where I need to serve. Really take into account all 5 as we go through this. They're really important. Now on your handout, I have the 5 letters for SHAPE, and S on your handout is for spiritual gifts, if you want to fill that in. Now what I read in Romans, this is not an exhaustive list of spiritual gifts. There are 6 other passages in the New Testament. I'm going to give those to you. If you're interested in seeing what the other spiritual gifts are that are listed in the New Testament, I'll give those to you. We're not going to turn to those. There's another spiritual gifts list in 1 Corinthians 12:8. And then in 1 Corinthians 10:28. And 13:1. 1 through 3 there. And chapter 14, 26. Chapter 14, verse 26. Those are all 1 Corinthians. If you don't get these, I'll get them to you afterwards. But Ephesians 4:11 has spiritual gifts. And 1 Peter 4:11. Now these 7 lists, when you look at them, they're not identical. Some gifts overlap and some don't. Most theologians believe that this isn't even the complete list of gifts that God gives. It's just a starting place for us. And that's what we're looking at tonight. The one that I gave you has only 9 spiritual gifts on it. So again, this is just a starting place for us to look at to see where can we serve. As you look at this spiritual gift description of the 9 given here, I want you to look at that handout I gave you that says, Lord, where do you want me to be a ministry servant? Has blanks on it. This is for you personally to write in answers. Don't feel like you have to do it as I talk. But if something jumps out and you say, oh, that's me, then jot it down. I'm asking you to take your spiritual gifts inventory in the first section on that paper and write your score. Those of you that did it, you know when you take it apart, you have a score, a total at the end. I hope everyone's able to do that. You put your total at the end, and whichever ones you came up with the highest points are your main spiritual gifts, not that you don't have the others. And I encourage you to write down your 3 spiritual gifts there at the top that came out with the highest points. And then the other sheet that your mentors just gave you is a list of ministry opportunities right now at Mid-Cities Bible Church. Now, if you do not go to Mid-Cities Bible Church...
Are you talking about this? Okay,
yes.
This was last week and I don't...
Yes. Yes. If you don't go to Mid-Cities Bible Church, then just look at the ministry topics, not the contact people, but I'm sure that you have similar ministries in your particular church. And this is just to help you plug in immediately somewhere. Now, if you have the gift of evangelism, then you would probably be really a good greeter. You would probably be excellent at doing the callbacks to people that are visiting the church and encouraging them to return, or to be part of the ministry team that now is working on neighborhood evangelism. Ron Bunyard is doing that. Wonderful way to plug in if your gift is the evangelist. Now, the prophet, the teacher, the exhorter, those are excellent opportunities to go in and teach Sunday school classes, whether it be children, youth, adult. Wonderful. Those gifts are used well in those ministries. And then the pastor shepherding one, that's if you're to be a mentor. Those make excellent mentors if you have those gifts. Doesn't mean you have to go to seminary, but it does mean that you make an excellent mentor. Also, I don't want you to say if you did not come out as a teacher, exhorter, or prophet, and you're teaching Sunday school right now, you need to quit. Please do not do that. That is not what this means. None of this is an end-all in itself. The mercy showers are wonderful in hospital visitations or in the prayer ministry. Wonderful in that one. Servers are in every group. Wonderful people working in the fellowship team that serves special dinners. Excellent place to do that. Or the ministries that do baby showers or meals. Excellent place to plug in servers. The givers are very unique. These are people that have money to spare and give it very generously. And that's a ministry in itself, an absolute ministry in itself. The administrator, these are leaders. If you came out high as administrator, you better be looking for you a ministry to run, because you probably will not like being in the back seat in anything. You'll want to run something. And if you're not running something now, there's probably something God wants you to run if you've got that gift. So that's kind of what the administrators do. They also do wonderful in office-type situations, helping in the office area and organizing things. So those are just possible matches to things. There are many others, just to get you thinking. And you'll have an opportunity in your small groups to talk at length about these. Now we're going to go on to number 2, and that's H, and that stands for heart. This is, what do you really love to do? What are you passionate about? What really means a lot to you? And this really has a lot to do with where you choose to serve, because God wants you to use that love and passion. You know, are you passionate about cooking? That'd be great for Joyce's ministry that does meals, or to cook fellowship meals if cooking's your thing. Or maybe you love books and you love reading. You'd love to work in the library with Galen Coons, who runs a library. Great place to plug in if you love books. If you love computers, there's all kinds of computer work that can be done in the office area. If you love children or you love youth, great places to plug in. If you love prayer, the prayer chain, all kinds of opportunities to find what your passion is and what you love to do. And let me tell you, if you have a passion and there's not a ministry, I'm encouraging you to start one. If we don't have it here, start it, because God is encouraging you to start those things as well. And then number 4 is personality. That's the P. Oh, I skipped A, didn't I? A is abilities. Sorry, abilities. All right, these are things, natural talents and things that God has given you. You were born with these. Maybe you're a good singer like Audrey. That's not my gift, but it's Audrey's. But if you were born with something like that, or you're artistic, or you're good in math, or you're really athletic, there are so many places you can plug in the church where you can do that. I know the Wana Games would love to have you if you're athletic. And I know the worship team could use singers. So God has given you some natural talents that you may use in your job. Maybe you're a salesman and you have this natural gift to sell. Those are things that even though you use them in your secular world, God can use them in His church, and He gave them to you for a purpose. And I've given you a place to note some of those and put possible ministry matches as well. Now for P. P is personality.